says an airplane flying from Los Angeles to New York with the wind takes 3.75 hours. Flying against the wind on the return trip takes 4.4 hours. What caused them not to be the same?
The wind.
The wind. So the wind has a speed, doesn't it? You know, you hear your wind has 30-mile-an-hour winds, 20-mile-an-hour winds. If the wind is with your back, it pushes you. You can add that to your speed. If the wind is against you, it slows you up. So their distance between Los Angeles and New York and Los Angeles are exactly the same. So basically you're working just the distance formula. Just a rate times time. Your distance is the same. If the distance between Los Angeles and New York is 2,500 miles, write down everything that we know so far. And the plane speed and the wind speed are both constant. Look what they want us to find. Find the plane speed, find the wind speed. So these are our unknowns. This is where my let statement goes. What do you want to make equal to the plane speed? I think you guys have what? Just because you did it, we might as well stick with yours. And then let x equal the wind speed. Does it matter, to be honest? No. It doesn't matter at all. But the way we set up the equation is going to matter. Now, distance equals rate times time. My rate going with the wind, I'm a plus. What's my time for with the wind? Takes 3.75 hours. So times my time, 3.75. And what's my distance? 2,500. That's one equation. The second equation says against the wind. This is with the wind. The second one will say against the wind. So if it's against the wind, what am I going to have to do to the wind speed? Subtract it. And how long did this take me? Time? 4.4. From there, you should be able to do it. You're going to distribute. Okay, you're going to distribute this. Let's take a look at what this gives us. And distribute the next one. Minus 4.4x. Now, here's my positive and negative right here. If I multiply the top row by what? 4.4 and the bottom one by? Shouldn't my x cancel out and I should be able to find y? Good. So the rest of that is up for you. Okay? You're going to solve the rest of it. All right, let's set up another one. Frank's investing some money. How much money does he have to invest? $38,000. The lucky man has a lot of money to invest. He's investing part at 7.5% and the remainder. So, what is our unknown? I don't know what part he's investing, right? So let x equal what? The part, the amount invested at what? And how do I write 7.5% as a decimal? Good. Let's just throw the decimal in there. Okay, and let y be his remainder. The amount invested at what? And how do I write that? 0.06. Good. If his annual interest income, this is what he makes. This is not what he invested. This is what he makes when we take that amount times the interest. Think of it very simple. If you invested $100 at 5%, what is your interest income going to be? If you invested $100 at 5%, you're going to get $5 back, right? That's your interest income. 100 times 0.05. Well, over time, the concept is this is simple interest, but over time it's compounded, it's rolled in. If you kept doing that, it's not bad. And to be honest, you guys will never see an interest rate as high as 6 or 7.5. Unfortunately, our interest rates are so small. Back in the day, way back in my day, yes, it was like 3%, 5%. That was probably the highest. You could put a CD in like for short term for 2 years and make like 5% on your money. But you had to have a lot of money to invest too. You know, for the average person, it's hard to make money on this, but it's not impossible because your money rolls in. It keeps rolling in. So how much does he have at each one? We don't know this. So we have two variables. We have to get two equations. So does anybody see one equation? So what do I do with this number? I didn't use this at all. Not 2,600, 38,000. The amount he invested together, part, put your X here, put your Y here. Part at 7.5, part at 6, adds up to 38,000. That's one equation. Now for us to calculate his simple interest, we're going to take the amount he invested at X and multiply it by what? 7.5%. So we're going to do 0.075 times X plus the amount invested at 6%, which is what? 0.06 Y. This is my interest income. Now it could line up to an elimination. It could lend itself to a nice substitution. I would probably do substitution. Like if you look at your first equation, solve it for X or Y, and substitute it into the bottom one. That lends itself nicely for substitution. Wait, what is that? Like I would solve this for X. Say 38,000 minus Y equals X. So when I see X, I will plug in my 38,000 minus Y. Because now isn't everything in Y, and I can solve for Y. Which makes it even nicer is when I solve for Y, can I bring it back here and then just plug it in and get X? Right? We're good with that? Okay, the difference between the interest earned and the money invested is the big bucks. The interest earned is when I multiply it times the interest. Okay, let's see if we could set this guy up. A 5-pound nut mixture. You know, like when did you guys ever get the gummy bears like from Price Chopper? And they would do it thin and you put it in a bag at Adams. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes you can mix them for a certain amount per pound, or sometimes you can just buy one and it's cheaper by the pound. So this is what they're asking us here. If they take a 5-pound mixture and you mixed everything in one bag, it would cost you $2.80 per pound. Okay? So this right here tells us what? What does the 5 tell us? That's how much total they're going to use, right? And we can figure out their price in a minute. The mixture contains peanuts and cashews. So how many let statements am I going to need? 2. Let X equal what? Okay, let's make this the amount of peanuts. And I always like to write the at part, because then I don't have to look back in the words. And let Y equal to what? Cashews. Is this 445? Let me just see. I might have changed this. Yeah. Yours is 445? Yeah. I must have transposed my numbers when I did it for the other class, and I did 54. So they came out with the odd amount of pounds, which is fine, but I kind of wanted it to come out normal. I just probably transposed the numbers. So I know all this, but I got to get some equations. How many equations do I need to find? 2. 2 variables, 2 equations. So can anybody find me one?
x plus y equals 14.
Oh, x plus 5 equals, x plus y equals what? 5. Hang on to your $14. Hang on to your $14 for a minute. But the amount, and this is why it's good to say, amount of peanuts, amount of cashews. So how many pounds altogether of these peanuts and cashews am I getting? 5 pounds. Hang on to your 14 for a second. We're gonna incorporate your 14. Now, I want to know another equation. I'm gonna spend just what Benicia told me. 5 times 280, $14. I'm gonna spend $14. And how am I gonna spend it? X times what? Good. X times 170 plus, good, or 45 times what? Together that should cost me $14, which is my 5 times 280. Good?
Now from there you solve for one of them.
Yeah, I probably would do substitution again. If you can set it equal to x or y, again, the beauty of this is, if you set this equal to x or y, it doesn't matter. So say you do this, once you plug it in, you solve for y, you bring it right back here and then you get x. If you can do the substitution, I wouldn't do it if it's going to cause you like fractions and things like that, but I definitely would try that. We did 7 together, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did it.
Oh my word. I got like a delay here. We did 7, so let's do 8. 8 is kind of like 7. A scholarship fund earns income from 3 investments. Simple interest means I multiply the investment times the percent. Simple interest, it's not compounded. So how many investments am I going to have?
3.
3. Huh. That's pretty good. I don't know what's going on with my board. But the whole thing is, and now I'm not responding. Now I'm in ink mode. I don't even know if I can get out of ink mode.
I'm right small. Just can't see.
Okay, ready guys? Let's see if this works better. Okay. A scholarship fund earns income from 3 investments. Come on, I'm taking the time to do this with you. You should have the decency to do this with me.
It's your smart boy's bugging.
It is. It's work too. I was happy I got my new light bulb. Anybody taking a look at this before we start, maybe?
Me?
Good.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I did. It's not fine now.
Okay. All right, so we have 3 investments. So let X. I don't know what's going on here.
You want to go up there and do it?
No, it has to do with this thing up here.
Where? Could you reach? What'd you say?
Okay. All right, let's try this. Guys, come on. Oh my gosh, it's just not.
Yeah, I think
I think this means that we should just sit here and just chill.
No, let me come do it on the truck board.
No.
Okay, we'll let some basics.
I'm allergic to the sound of the chalkboard when you scratch.
I promise I won't scratch my
I
fingers.
hate the sound like on the phone trades.